And welcome back. 23 minutes now past the hour. Well, Dr. Ben Carson stepped into the limelight when he talked about limited government at the National Prayer Breakfast, you'll remember. Now Dr. Carson is under fire for some comments he made about marriage this week. Here to react to the controversy is pediatric neurosurgeon Dr. Ben Carson. Doc, happy Easter to you. Nice to see you this morning.
Same to you.
Well, I think it is safe to say you got into a bit of a controversy this week following your comments about marriage on the Hannity program. You were set to give a commencement speech at Johns Hopkins University, and a member of the student body, a number of the members of the student body stepped up to say, look, Dr. Ben Carson doesn't represent our viewpoints here. We don't want him to speak at our commencement ceremony. Where does that stand this morning? Will you, and have you gotten support from the other side?
I've gotten a lot of support from the other side, and many students feel very much differently, and many faculty members feel differently too. And what it has hopefully done is help us to open up a dialogue. This is the very thing that I was talking about at the National Prayer Breakfast when I talked about political correctness and how it puts a muzzle over the ability to have open discussions, which is the only way that we can really make progress. So, you know, I don't want to be the focal point of a war on campus, but what I would like to encourage people to do is tone down the rhetoric a little bit, and let's sit down and discuss things like intelligent human beings rather than getting into corners and casting aspersions at people. You know, as far as my comments on gay marriage, I do believe that marriage is between a man and a woman. I'm not going to change that. But the fact that some people misinterpreted what I said when I tried to come up with examples of variations on marriage and relationships, and I don't know of a whole lot of different ones even now, but the fact of the matter is that it doesn't mean that they're all equal. It simply means that there's nobody who gets to change the definition of marriage. It's been the same 100 years ago, 1,000 years ago, 5,000 years ago.
Well, the media, Doctor, I don't mean to interrupt you there, but the media seemed to jump down your throat pretty quickly. And I did a cursory Google search this morning to see how many news articles were written about your comments this week as it compared to other news stories this week. You received 23,800 news articles written about your comments on marriage. Compare that to when Jim Carrey did his video piece this week and slammed Charlton Heston. 6,000 pieces were written about Jim Carrey. That's nearly quadruple the number of coverage. Do you think you've gotten a fair shake in the media?
Well, of course we know that there's bias in the media. I don't think there's any person who's living and breathing who doesn't realize that. But, you know, I would rather appeal to the American people and ask them to really start analyzing things for yourself and thinking for yourself. Don't have everything filtered through what somebody else thinks. That's why our founders said we need an educated and well-informed populace, or our nation would turn into something else.
Well, it is Easter Sunday. We would be remiss if we didn't ask you as a man of faith to give us your thoughts on this very special day and what it means to you. Well,
first of all, I would say anybody who knows me and has worked with me, including gay people, know that I treat everybody the same, very nice. And I think your life speaks much more than any words that someone wants to misinterpret. However, you know, Jesus is my role model, and what he did is he preached love, he preached acceptance, but he also was a man of values and principles, and he wound up being crucified for it. But he rose again to advocate godly principles of loving your fellow man, of caring about your neighbor, of developing your God-given talents to the utmost so that you become valuable to the people around you by having values and principles that guide your life. And I would just conclude with the words of 2 Chronicles 7:14. If my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven and forgive their sin and heal their land.
Dr. Ben Carson joining us this morning from Florida on this Easter Sunday. Well said. Can't top that. Thank you so much, Doc.